The movie I am going to talk about today is The Shining, written in 1977 by one of the most celebrated writers of fantasy and horror literature of all time, Stephen King. The film, released in 1980, is based on the same play and directed by director Stanley Kubrick, who is also known for devising numerous cinematic masterpieces. Surely the plot will already be familiar to you, but for those who are unfamiliar with it, it encompasses distressing emotions manifested in the events that a simple family faces in total isolation, which takes place in a mysterious hotel located high in the mountains, the Overlook Hotel. The hotel possesses a sinister setting and is the scene of disturbing events that will lead Jack, the father of the family, to completely lose his mind and manifest homicidal instincts toward his loved ones. His son Danny is able to possess visions of both the dark past of the place itself and the bleak future of what takes place. In fact, it is from this very magical and luminous power that the name of the play is derived, The Shining. The plot ends with the escape of the little boy and his mother Wendy. Those who have read the novel already know that the original story is quite different from the film adaptation. Moreover, it is a well-known fact that a celebrated king of thrills never liked the adaptation of his novel, so much so that he wrote the screenplay for a TV miniseries of the same title that was much more faithful to the original story, which was released in 1997. There are multiple differences between King's novel and Kubrick's film that clearly change the narrative of the plot, and in this video I will try to encapsulate the main differences between the film and the novel. One of the most obvious differences, the first one I will discuss, concerns precisely the character of Jack, played by Jack Nicholson. In the film, the character is presented as out of his mind from the very beginning of the story. In contrast to the one described in the novel, in which he does nothing but struggle with his sanity until he loses it completely. We are thus faced with a metamorphosis that is not contemplated in the film. Wendy's character is also quite different. Kubrick's Wendy is a submissive and powerless figure. In contrast, King's Wendy is an extremely courageous character, despite suffering violence from her husband. The second difference is present in the film's most iconic scene, certainly the one in which Jack tries to kill his wife and son by smashing with an axe the bathroom door in which the two have locked themselves to escape from his murderous rampage. In the original story, however, the weapon he uses is a rock mass, a huge, heavy wooden hammer with which he wounds his wife, who is not hit at all in the film. The third difference is seen in one of the most disturbing moments in the story, namely that of the spirit woman, who in the novel resides in room number 217 in the hotel. In the film, however, the room number became 237 because the hotel manager, where part of the film was shot, wanted to use a room that did not exist. Encapsulated in another iconic scene in the film is a fourth difference, that of the bloody elevator, which is not mentioned at all in the original story, despite the shocking and impactful effect it gives to anyone who sees it. as are the Grady twins, the two little girls whom little Danny glimpses at the end of the hotel corridor. Only a hint is made of the two in the novel, but they never appear in the course of the plot. And it is the ending that differs most in the narrative. The ending of the film takes place in the hedge maze of the hotel, also not mentioned at all in the original story. In it, Jack in a frenzy pursues his son Danny, but he manages to escape by hiding his tracks in the snow so as to leave his father to die in the cold. In the book, contrarily, Jack is tasked with periodically lowering the pressure of the hotel's boiler, but caught up in the murderous rage of his son's pursuit, which takes place exclusively among the hotel corridors. He forgets to check it, and although he tries to fix it, it explodes and destroys the hotel. Once again, King accuses Kubrick of not understanding his characters and his story, as in the original work, the dying man, still in the grip of madness, does everything to try to save his family. There is thus a message of love from a father and husband, as opposed to the insane Jack in the film, who finds no redemption and always remain static from beginning to end. What I have described are just some of the distinctions that appear in this masterpiece thriller, and there will be so much more to tell. But I hope nonetheless that this description has made it clear how important the telling of a story is, and how difficult it is to remain faithful to a work while avoiding omissions or plot inconsistencies. But also how important it is to read a book in order to better understand what the author intends to convey with his words. Only letters printed on paper have the ability to masterfully guide us to the end of a story in a way that even the most skilled filmmaker could not visually translate. Thanks for watching.